Welcome to the Shipe Sports Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Shipe Sports Talk Show, the show where I believe we can win. First off, congrats to USA Soccer for last night's victory over Mexico. Every American I know loved it. Woo-hoo. So we'll get right into it. Today, always joined in studio by my producer, Paul.
How's it going?
Everyone, please check out his podcast they did on Tuesday night, the Crazy Talk podcast. That's Crazy Talk with a K. They were discussing how Dennis Quaid went on a fake rant. It's pretty funny. So everyone, please check that out. Joined in studio once again by David, the Coach Shipe. How you doing?
Okay, good to be here.
And I don't know who has more excuses, the Mexico soccer team when they lose the USA or Brad when he's late to the show. But we're joined in studio via Skype by Brad Cameron.
Late for the show. I'm right here. How can you say I'm late?
Post start at 7. In all
Good
honesty,
evening, everyone.
In all honesty, people, Brad's just, he's probably a little upset after the weekend. And, I think he's still thinking about the apology that he owes me from last week. He's shaking his head, but he knows it.
No, I don't know what you're talking about, Shipe.
You need to change your hat from Titleist to Under Armour, buddy.
Why's that?
Because
Is that Spieth's?
there's a kid named Jordan Spieth who's 21 years old who's sponsored by Under Armour and happened to just win the Masters this past week. So let's give a congratulations clap to Jordan Spieth, your 2015 Masters champion, 21 years old. That is crazy. And I think it's been 30 or almost 30 to 50-something years the last time a player who's gone from coast to coast, which in golf terms means leading after round one and didn't look back. He never gave up the lead once he got it, which is, in this time of age with golf, all the competitors is great. But let's go ahead and talk Masters to begin the show. Like we said, Jordan Spieth won it, and he just took the lead and never looked back. I mean, the week before that, he had a meltdown where he lost tournament, but there was no meltdown this week. Once he got that lead, he held on to it. Strong showing also by Justin Rose. He just fought it, but when Rose made a birdie, Spieth made a birdie. I mean, there was nothing Rose could do. I mean, he would get a stroke, and Spieth would get a stroke. I mean, there was just nothing Rose could do. And when Spieth would bogey, Rose happened to also bogey, so he just could never gain the ground that was needed. Tiger had a great week. A lot of people were bagging on him not even making the cut. He did. His putting and chipping were amazing. His drives suck. But, I mean, if it wasn't for his chipping, it would have been a lot worse. So we know what he worked on for the past couple months. He didn't work on driving. Phil Mickelson, as always, shows up in the Masters. I mean, that was Brad's pick. I mean, he came on strong in the third day, moving day, but just couldn't quite catch up. I mean, Spieth was just so far out in front you couldn't catch him. So, Brad, let's go over your takes on the Masters this week.
Well, I thought it was great, and congrats, Matt. You were right. Spieth was clutch down the stretch. You both said that, and I thought he would falter a little bit, and the guy who I thought would catch him would end up being Phil.
Thank you.
So you were right. I was wrong. But I still thought it was a great Masters. Lots of birdies to be had out there. I think the course was playing a little bit easier than some of the people who work at Augusta and set up the course wanted to play. You don't usually see a bunch of double-digit figures under par, but this week you did. So I think the fans were very entertained by how many birdies were falling. And look at Spieth every single time. Rose tried to catch him. Phil tried to catch him. He had an answer, and even when he would make a bogey, he'd fire right back with a birdie. So what a tremendous effort. Deserving win. I mean, just played fantastic and always kept his composure. Very solid.
Coach, your thoughts on the Masters?
I thought it was a great Masters to watch also. Spieth, tremendous, minus 18 for first tournament. Set few tournament records there for him that the way, you don't know how long they're going to stand, but the way people are playing, who knows? I just thought that, watching, I was thinking at one time, I said, Brad might be right here because here comes Phil right here on the back nine. Phil, gets his eagle. I believe it's on 15 out of the trap. All right, and the thing is Phil's a hole ahead of Spieth, and all of a sudden you hear this big roar where Spieth's up to putt, and you know what's happening. Phil's had the eagle, and then they go and then but what Spieth did was it looked like he just relaxed. Okay, Phil did something great. I have to match him here. Either eagle or birdie. It's got to be done. I can't come away par because Phil goes to 16 to par 3. If he doesn't hit that in the trap and he's on the green, could be a little different there coming down 17 and 18. If Phil gets a birdie after an eagle and then going to 17, which is a birdie hole for almost all of them, then you're looking at we're getting nick and tut here. Now let's see what the young man has. And I'm saying that I picked Spieth too, but with him having his first round on Thursday of -8, kind of set the pace. I mean, you get 8 under on the first day, and you get, keep going. You could have shot 3 under the next 3 days, and you're still where you need to be because now everybody is pushing. And with all of the great golfers that were ahead of him, you had Woods, McIlroy, Rose was with him. You had Phil out there. I mean, if you were, it was probably any one of us, we probably would have trembled and might have had the white flag up by number 12 because, those players in front of him, they were going all out. Pressure was on him as soon as he stepped to the tee on the first hole. So a great tournament for him. And, you just think if, Phil -14, you go last year, -8 won it. I mean, you're looking the way the scores were in the top 5. I've got down, Roy was -12. Heck, if Roy shoots -12 last year, he's a winner. So, it was just an amazing 4 days. And I kept thinking, now, what's the Masters, how are they going to try to set something up to make it longer? I think they've already extended that course probably as far as they can. But it was just a great weekend for scoring. So it was over. I thought it was a great tournament, and even on Saturday and Sunday to watch.
Real quick, not breaking news, but sports update, score update. The Washington Nationals are up 1-0. Yonel Escobar took the first pitch he saw on home run, so lead off, first pitch, home run for the Nationals. So they're up 1-0 on the Phillies. So good job, Yonel Escobar. We'll talk a little bit more about him later. More on the Masters now. Tiger Woods. Everyone came in wondering, should he have came back? Is this the time for him? Is he coming back just because it's the Masters, because of the publicity he'll get? The cameras were obviously on him from the day he stepped out for the practice round. They were on him. And, I don't know what he's done for the past couple weeks, but his short game, his putting was there. His putting was there even when he was having bad short game. That's what was saving him in tournaments. But his short game was amazing. His drives, I guess he wasn't working on them. They were really wild. I don't know how he saved the one. I think it was one on the par 5 in Azeman corner. He somehow got a birdie after wherever the hell his drive was at. So that was a pretty good save. But, he looked pretty good. One of my theories is, that I've told you both, is that Lindsey Vonn, his current girlfriend, is a skier. So during the beginning of the year when he was doing these tournaments, she was also doing skiing tournaments, which were still going on in the U.S. and like Colorado, places like that. Well, now that it's warmer, she's going to cut back, which means, less of him traveling to those places and maybe more concentrating on golf. She was also, I think it's the first time we've actually really seen her, that they've publicized of her being there. I'm sure she's been there before, but he had her there. His kids were there. So it's almost like he felt more relaxed than he has been in almost 2 years. This is the most we've seen him relax in 2 years. He was having fun. The whole dislocated the wrist thing. Shots like that, you can really hurt yourself if you hit a stump or something like that. We've seen people, even at a sand trap, the one golfer, I can't remember his name, who tore his ACL hitting out of a sand. So anything like that can actually hurt you or affect you, even if it's a bruised thing. That that can affect your game, especially a wrist. Brad knows me. He, like Tiger's knees, Brad's knees. That can also affect you if later on. What? I said your ACL. Your ACL. Stop it. You've seen Tiger's lost power his ACL. I'm not saying you have, Brad. I'm just saying injuries like that can affect you later on in any type of career.
Sure.
Whatever. But anyway, Tiger looked pretty good. He looked impressive, but I want to see more from him. I don't want any more of these month-long layoffs. I want him to get right back out there and compete. I want to see what he can do because, and still in the back of his mind, he wants to break that record. Even though he's come out and said, I don't care about the record or anything, he wants it.
Where was he in the standings?
Where?
Masters.
I think what was he sits under?
Tied for 17th.
17th.
Which is better.
Five under.
Is better what people thought. I mean, at one point I think he was tied for 5th. I mean, on moving day he was moving up. I mean, he was getting the crowd going, and even with him not playing that good, if you're Jordan Spieth, still in the back of your mind, I mean, you watch this guy grew up and what he did, you can still, you're like, holy crap, he's 3 or 4 behind me. Tiger can get on a roll and catch me. I mean, still I still believe that some of these young kids still will look up to Tiger. I mean, you had people when he was hurting his back. I mean, Fowler, they were picking up his tee for him. I mean, they still respect them as a person, as a golfer. And I still feel that, if he was 1 behind Spieth, and let's say he gets a birdie and tied Spieth's mindset's like, oh shit, is Tiger back? So I still feel that Tiger, to where he may not intimidate as most as he used to be, I feel like if he can get back to form to what he was and maybe start finishing top 10s, top 5s, winning a couple here and here, I still feel he still has an intimidation factor because of who he is and who he was. I mean, Brad, what do you think about that with Tiger?
I agree with you in that sense, but personally, I wasn't that impressed by his performance at all at Augusta. I mean, he shot 5 under at a course that was giving up tons of birdies. So I would think if he was playing remotely decent, well, he would have climbed into the top 10. I mean, this wasn't even a top 10 finish. So, we're excited for him that he made the cut. No, that doesn't make any sense. This is Tiger Woods. This is one of the best golfers ever. I don't think we should be, necessarily applauding that. And I don't think Tiger is even that proud of it. I think if you got his honest opinion, I think he'd be like, you know what? There was tons of birdies to be had out there, and I didn't have many at all. So, I'm glad he stayed healthy, and, it looks like he does need to get back on the range and get his ball striking under control. But I think, with his health coming back, he'll have more and more stamina and strength to be able to hit balls and get his ball striking back under control. But it looks like his short game has definitely been addressed because, man, it was horrific for a while. But this wasn't that impressive in my opinion. He climbed to the top 5, and then it was like, okay, is he back? Is he going to keep firing? Then he faltered. Whether it was his wrist, I have no clue. But then he slipped back, shot +1 the final day. Not very Sunday Tiger, in my opinion. So, I'm not that impressed.
What are your thoughts on Tiger Woods, Coach?
Well, thoughts on Tiger is there was a couple of us were talking at my work the other day, and we were thinking Tiger needs to, I guess, realize that he's 38, 39. Okay? He can't hit the ball like he did at 25. All right, with the speed that he had on the club, I think was it Saturday he was hitting a 9-iron. I think it was a number 2 or number 3, and he put a big hit on it. And one of the announcers said, well, he registered hitting that 9-iron at 115 miles an hour. Now for a 9-iron, that's most people's drivers, but when you saw, even when they went and slowed it down, it was quick. And I think that's where he gets into trouble sometimes. He still wants to, okay, I'm Tiger Woods. He's a great player, always will be, I think, even, when he gets a little bit more up there in age. But you got to remember your age. It's not that he's not over the hill or anything. You just have to remember your body is not 25 anymore or 21. You have to establish what's going on with how your body is suited now, and no matter what people say, it gets to your age. All right, the older you get, and I'm a living proof of that. The slower some things, you have to adhere to what's going on. Can he still be a great golfer? Yes, he can. You don't have to hit the ball 320 yards every time. A lot of golfers you see will hit it 280, 290, but they're where they want to be to set up the second or third shot. I just think he just has to, play within what you have right there. Don't try to go back to this is how I hit it this time. But we were all younger at one time, and now we're getting to a point where stay within the realm of what you have and what you can do with all the tools that you have. And I think he'll, if he does that because he was looking more relaxed, I think you're going to see him back up in the top 5 in the next year.
That's very real possibility if he gets back to what he does. And adjusts his own game, I mean, we could see him in the back. I mean, he's got a long way to go now. I mean, I'm sure he's back in the top 100. I know he dropped out of it. I'm sure after this week he had to have climbed back into that. How far? I mean, we'll have to wait for the official golf rankings, but I mean, this sport still needs Tiger Woods. I mean, he still pushes a lot of product. He's a big promotion guy. They still need Tiger Woods. They can't have him go out the way he did earlier this year. I mean, they need him to maybe go out on top, winning or finishing the top 10s. They don't need him shooting 80s. That's not how the sport needs him to go out. So it's good for him to finally make the cut and shoot under par. I think this was also the first time he shot below 70 in a Masters, in a major at all since 2012, 2013. So it's been a while since he even shot good in a major. So it's a good step for him. But like I said, it has to be repetition. He can't be taking any more breaks. He's got to play. So we'll look for that the upcoming weeks. Jordan Spieth, right back at it. Some Master champs may take a week off to recover, but he's right back at it. He's playing this week, so good luck to him. He's a playing kid. I mean, he wants to play. He's like what me and Brad were at 21. We just want to play golf. I mean, not what he's doing, but he wants to play golf. I mean, he gets to make money doing it, but he's a kid who wants to play golf. He's not a college kid anymore, but he just wants to play. So we'll have to tune in. The next major championship will be the U.S. Open. We'll have another preview show. We'll do that for every major golf tournament since all of us here are big golf fans. Paul's starting to learn more and more, I think, about the players more, I think.
Yeah. I've always loved to play golf, and I always have, not like religiously, but
I'm sure you're learning more than what you already knew.
Yeah,
before now,
definitely. I've never really followed it too much, but
which is good. So I want real quick before we get into baseball. I just want to talk about the USA game real quick last night. Brad, did you by any chance catch any of that? I mean, I know you're a big USA supporter for any sports.
I did catch a little bit of it. I caught the first 45. I didn't
First
catch
45.
the second half.
For any American, so it doesn't matter if you watch soccer or not, but for some reason when USA Soccer plays, it's like it's a national day. I mean, like it's the World Cup. You have people who know nothing about soccer, but they'll root for USA because it's USA. And a lot of people who don't watch soccer don't realize how big the rival is for us against Mexico. I mean, it's almost like our World Cup. Like if we beat them, we feel like we won the World Cup 10-0.
Yeah.
And last night, we didn't have Clint Dempsey last night. We didn't have Tim Howard. We didn't have Josie Altidore. We didn't have a couple of our big name players like DeMarcus Beasley was gone, Scott Chandler. I mean, a lot of our starters were not there. And USA played extremely well with these young players. And granted, Mexico didn't have, Cherachito, however you say his name, Dos Santos, their goalie, the guy who was their goalie was incredible during the World Cup. And, they come out, they're like, oh, well, you played our C squad. But, you kind of played our C squad because we didn't have our captain out there. We didn't have our top striker. So it's like it evens out. And these young kids came out to play. The guy who scored the first goal, Morris, still in college. He's still in Stanford, and he made these normal national Mexican defenders look like rubbish. I mean, he was outrunning them. He was so fast on one of the plays. He got ahead of the USA players, and he got down there. He lost the ball, but he was so far ahead, he had no one to pass it to, and it was like crap. Agudelo, who was a former national team player, he got taken back off the squad. He's back on now. He's been playing with New England Revolution. Up his career, had an amazing goal, good cutback. So, I mean, it looked really good for U.S. soccer. A lot of people were like, okay, they're getting up there in age. Like Dempsey's getting up there. Bradley's getting up there. Howard. But Bradley looked amazing last night. I mean, they all looked great. And I really feel like USA soccer is on the rise to where us as Americans should start expecting this team to get past the group stage. Every World Cup they get to, it should be expected as us because we are soccer is a growing sport in this country, and people need to realize it. I mean, we're getting people like David Villa, who's playing in New York now, was a big star in Spain.
Yeah.
He's drawing a crowd in New York. Kaká, Brazilian.
Yeah.
Orlando, their first game was sold out. And they were playing New York, so it was Villa versus Kaká, and people are going to see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they sold out the Citrus Bowl, and that's a football stadium, and they sold it out for soccer. It's great. I mean, when all these international teams come over here, they sell out, and people need to start realizing that USA could be coming up as a soccer team. And I mean, then you have Steven Gerrard, who's going to be coming over here. You have Frank Lampard. So a lot of these European players are coming over here, and you're seeing a lot of younger kids go, like when David Beckham first came here, it's like, oh my God, it's David Beckham. I want to go see him. And when they're seeing him, they're like, okay, this is really what we're hearing about. Granted, he came later in his career, but he still drew a crowd wherever he went, and that's what these players are doing. Kaká is older in his career, not good as he used to be, but he's going to draw people, and that's what I'm liking about these European players come over here is they're drawing a crowd, getting young kids interested. There's a lot of youth programs going on now. I mean, I play on a rec team, on Mondays, but I didn't start playing until, maybe out of high school just on red teams, but it's a developing sport, and there's a lot of good young talent, and there's a lot of good young talent in Maryland. I mean, the Maryland soccer team is very good. The Terps are a very good team, and a lot of their players will get drafted. Just Brad, your thoughts. What do you think about soccer in the U.S., and do you think it's on the rise?
I do think it's on the rise. I think, the support that the USA showed our boys in the World Cup this year was tremendous. And I know we always do a good job, but I think this year was something a little bit more special. I think we really had some momentum building from the past couple World Cups, and I think we did have a little bit of attitude and a little bit more expectations going into the World Cup. The previous World Cup because of some of the success we had in the World Cups before that. So, I think it definitely is on the rise, and I think everyone likes to get geared up for USA. So every time you put them on TV, people are going to want to support it. They're going to want to come together. They're going to want to unite and cheer as fans.
And, speaking of the last World Cup, I mean, we were thrown in the group of death, and we came out of that in second. I mean, we were with Germany, Portugal, and Ghana, and they were like, oh, USA, just write them off. They're going to finish in last place. We beat Ghana. We shocked the world by tying Portugal. I don't care what anyone says. Portugal was supposed to beat us. I mean, they were up 2-0. We came back to take the lead. I mean, they tied it at the end, but we were supposed to lose that game. Germany, granted, it's Germany. We're not going to beat them. Let's be honest. They were the World Cup champs. I mean, they beat Brazil 7-0 or 7-1, whatever it was. I know Guillermo was pissed off about that.
The U.S. definitely overachieved of what most people were expecting them to do last World Cup for sure.
But in my opinion, I don't think it's overachieving. I think they did what they were supposed to do. I mean, people in this country we're expected to win. I mean, that's the mentality of USA. I mean, like during the Ryder Cup, you'll have people who probably won't even watch golf just root for U.S. during the Ryder Cup, and it's just awesome. I mean, you can say that, Coach. You watch the Ryder Cup. You have people who don't even know anything about golf will watch it just for U.S.
Just to root.
Same for the Olympics. I mean, no one who the hell knows what curling is, but we'll root for the U.S. curling team for God's sakes. We'll root for the fast walkers of the U.S.
Well, not only the with the soccer stuff, not only the men's soccer, but then like even the women's soccer has helped propel just soccer in general. Because,
there's a lot of and their World Cup is this year actually. So good luck to them. And they're one that's always expected to win. They are expected to win year in and year out. I mean, if they don't win a World Cup, it's a down year.
Yep.
Right.
Like if we live like in Germany or Brazil, if they don't win a World Cup, it's a down year for them in men's. For us, that's our women's. It's a down year if we don't win.
Yep.
So we'll definitely keep an eye on for the Women's World Cup this year, and hopefully they can bring home a trophy back to America and make us proud.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. I didn't get Paul set up there.
It's all right.
Sorry, I didn't give you the cue. I mean, we're going to go like this or like this, and I don't know what to do.
Well, last time we didn't do it, so I was just like, okay.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Here's some messages from Paul, and we'll be right back with you momentarily. On the other side, we will talk baseball and basketball.
Hey, this is Paul from the Shipe Sports Talk podcast. Just wanted to let you know how you could listen to our podcast while you're on the go using an app called Stitcher. You can listen anytime, anywhere using the award-winning free Stitcher app. Best part is, when you stream our podcast or any of the other 20,000 available out there, there's no downloading, no syncing, or no wasted memory. It's on demand and on the go. So if you don't already have the Stitcher app on your iPhone, Android phone, or tablet, download it free today at Stitcher.com or from your app store. Add us to your favorites list, and every week when we put out our new episode, Stitcher will automatically update and have the latest episode of the Shipe Sports Talk podcast waiting for you. While you're there, it really helps us get our podcast noticed if you give us a nice review, rating, and thumbs up. We'll greatly appreciate it. Have a comment or question? Easy. Go to ShipeSportsTalk.com, click on the Contact Us tab, and there you'll be able to submit your questions or comments. We love hearing from you, so we'll be sure to thank you live on the air. You'll also find on ShipeSportsTalk.com the latest episodes, show notes, and other ways to find us on platforms like iTunes and YouTube. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into some baseball talk. We've already had, 2 weeks of the season go in, and a lot of teams are doing good that, there were little surprises, like Kansas City's a surprise, Colorado's a surprise. teams that were supposed to win are not winning the Nationals. We'll go into national talk first since we're in Washington. First off, Brad, I have a question for you.
I have an answer for you.
Is Ian Desmond worth $100 million?
What?
Is this a trick question?
Yeah, I'm really asking this question. Is he worth $100 million?
No.
Coach, is Ian Desmond worth $100 million?
No.
Ian Desmond turned down $100 million last year from the Nationals, thinking he's worth more. Mr. Desmond, $100 million players don't have 6 errors in the first 8 games of the year. David Wright's a $100 million player. You think he has 6 errors in 8 games? No. 6 errors in 8 games, my ass. That's ridiculous. They've lost so many games because of errors this year. Like, they've been beating themselves. And that's because I panicked last week. I admit I panicked, but they've scored a good amount of runs in the past 3 games. Their offense is turning around, but they're missing players. Michael Taylor, like I said, told Brad now, I had high expectations, but he never played AAA. He's a AA player who needed one more year in the minors. So he's just there until Denard Span. Denard Span's starting rehab assignment today up in Hagerstown. So please, Span, we need you back in the outfield, buddy.
Well, the outfield. Talking about the outfield, I was on my way home when they were playing Boston. Was it this last week? Was it?
I don't. What you mean? Talk about all the fly
series.
balls they missed?
Yeah. I turned on the radio. I got into my car, started driving home, turned on the radio. The game was on, and it must have been. I don't know if I caught both of them, but the very last one I ended up turning off because they said, "Okay, pop up." Okay, who's out and left? I think it's
Worth and Taylor.
Yeah.
And they just dropped it.
That's about how they're playing. Who's on first? I don't know who's on second. What's his name's on third?
It was ridiculous.
I mean, it's just Taylor is not taking the catches at Span way. He doesn't have a voice. He's like expecting for someone else to do it. And I'm looking at the stats here. Most of these pitchers, except for tonight, they've had 2 starts. Matt Scherzer's ERA through 2 games, .66 ERA. That's tremendous. Even for 2 games, that's tremendous. You know how many wins he has?
how many?
0. He has no wins, and his ERA is .66. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
0.6. We're paying this guy $210 million. He's doing what he's paid to do, and he has no wins. No wins.
How many games down are they in the season already?
They're 3-6. They're
Okay.
starting to come around, but they're winning 1 game a series. And they won yesterday. They're up 1-0 right now. They need to get a streak going. Like, they need to start winning 3 or 4 in a row, maybe drop a game, and then win another 3 in a row to get back. Because the Braves, by the way, everyone who thought, oh my God, they're undefeated, they've lost the past couple of games. They're 5-3 now. They've come back to reality. They were just off a little bit of a high.
Is that they're playing them now?
No, they're playing the Philly now.
Philly.
The
Okay.
Phillies, who's on a high as well.
Okay.
Like Kansas City is just crushing it right off the bat. I mean, everyone thought they were a fluke last year, but they're not a fluke. And the Giants, I talked about during the preview show that they would be hurting without Sandoval and Pence, and they are hurting. I think they're 3-6, the same as the Nationals. Injuries are killing them, and Sandoval was a big loss to that team. And also, who's really hurting? I bet you Adam Jones, has 4 home runs, but Nelson Cruz is leading the majors with 6. I bet you the Orioles wish they would have given him the money now. That'd have been a nice outfield with him in there. Of course, you have Cabrera and Trout who are hitting the ball tremendous right now. And Adrian Gonzalez, he's just starting off with a tear. I mean, he's batting .528. I mean, I know it's the first 2 weeks, but still, he's hitting everything in sight. So, let's go to, for the standings, you got the Nationals, they're tied for 3rd. But, I was talking to Brad last night. I guess I may have hit the panic button too early because, Brad will take it. Brad, why did I hit the panic button too early? You told me today. You tell everyone.
Well, you were worried that we weren't going to live up to the hype, and you called me in distress, and I had to get you to pump the brakes. I was like, pump the brakes a little bit. Wait till we get healthy.
I didn't pump them. I slammed those motherfuckers.
I was like, wait till we get healthy, and then we can worry about exactly how this team is going to perform. Because realistically, until we get healthy, you can't really make any kind of judgment on the Nationals. Because this isn't our squad. This isn't our roster. It's not like we are underachieving based on our record, but once we reach our full potential, then let's see if we underachieve. Let's see if we don't start reeling off 4 or 5 straight wins, stuff like that. So let's wait until Span comes back, Rendon comes back, and you see even with Worth coming back, look at our runs, tremendously. It went up very, very quick. So let's let ourselves get healthy before we really want to judge this team and see if they're going to live up to the hype.
You want to know why I'm kicking myself in the foot right now? I picked Seattle to win the West, and they're in last place right now. I mean, it's just I'm looking at my picks right now, and most of them. Ugh, what was I thinking? Colorado's going to come back down to earth, though. I mean, they're 7-2. I don't think they're going to stay there. I mean, a lot of these teams, they'll start strong. I mean, the Nationals, when they first started, they were winning. I think their first year, they were like in first place halfway, and they came back to reality. So a lot of these teams, they'll start off with a high, and I mean, they'll just be momentum. But come when you have to grind them out, you're gonna see the real teams start. Not the real teams, the teams that shouldn't be playing that good. They're gonna start fading come August and September, and you're gonna see teams like the Nationals and all them take control when they should, like what the Nationals did last year. I mean, they were struggling in the beginning, but once they got that 10-game win streak going, walk-off city, it was just incredible.
That's just your theme music.
No, it's actually my father's ESPN. Oh yeah, another injury. Stammen's out for the year now. I mean, our bullpen get any worse? That's another thing killing the Nationals is our 8th inning guy isn't there right now, which is supposed to be Casey Jensen, who we signed. We signed him over spring training. He was a closer for Toronto, and he's hurt. So we haven't really had our 8th inning guy, and we've had, I think, probably 5 different people try the 8th inning, and nothing's worked out.
You mean in terms of pitching?
Yeah, like the 8th inning is called your setup man, and we really don't have our setup man yet, so that's hurting. But, God, I bet you they're kicking themselves for trading Tyler Clippard right now because they could really – really affected us losing him. And they may be looking to do some trades probably before the trade deadline if the bullpen stays like this, and we may have to give up a prospect. Another player they should be kicking themselves for losing is Steven Susan, who would be awesome right now if we had him playing in the outfield because he is just killing it in Tampa Bay. I mean, congrats to him. I mean, he was a minor league journeyman. He's finally getting a chance to show what he can do, and he is showing it. I mean, he's had back-to-back games of home runs, and those home runs were bombs. And I heard today, did you hear what Jordan Zimmerman gave him for that no-hitter?
No, what?
A Beamer.
Oh, wow.
Bought him a Beamer for that catch he made. So I mean,
yeah.
I mean, because he made we played the clip where he made the catch, and Jordan Zimmerman's like, all right, cool, you made the catch, I'm gonna buy you a Beamer.
Holy moly!
So anyone who needs a Beamer, go play baseball and catch a no-hitter. You'll be fine. But
I don't think you'll need a Beamer if you're playing Major League Baseball.
No.
You could just give them away. Just buy them and give them away.
Yeah.
It's early in the season, so we'll see what happens. I think we'll see more what this team is like once we get Rendon and Span better. I mean, first is going to be Span, then we'll get Rendon, then we'll have the complete team. Hopefully Jensen can get back, and hopefully some of these young pitchers they get can step it up and pitch good. I mean, Blake Treinen, I mean, he had one game where he was lights out, and the other game, I think what really derailed him was that bobble ground ball that turned into an error. I mean, he bobbled it. He had 2 errors in one. He had 2 errors in one play. You hear that ball? 2 errors in one play. He bobbled the grounder, and he threw the ball away. They had just came back. They were down 5-1, and they had just came back to take the lead 7-5. Then they lost it 8-7.
Oh,
like
we've been
waiting all year for the offense to come around. We're like, it's around, and then that happened. We're like, oh. Like yesterday, they were up 5-1. I'm like, all right, cool. They're up 5-1, and then Boston started slowly coming back. I'm like, uh-oh, they need to put up more runs. They ended up putting 10. Thank God, because Boston scored 5 on them. So, you don't want your starter pitchers to go, but it's almost like they have to go 8 innings and give it to Storen. Yeah. I mean, you hate to say that, but that's what it's starting to look like where you're a starter and you're like, all right, cool, I only allowed 1 or 2 runs, and you're like, crap, can they hold this for me? Can I get the win? Which is happening to Scherzer. I mean, he's having tremendous starts. Like I said, they're not holding wins for him. I mean, this staff ERA a week ago was 1.99, and they only had one game. That's bad.
Wow.
So, like I said, it's early. Also, Brad, for you, it's early in the fantasy season, so you're still good to go.
It's always early. It's still early.
I didn't realize the first 2 games I had Anthony Rendon in. I was like, let me check my line. I was like, oh, no. And I had to go to waiver wire and get everything. Apparently, the guy I got hit a bomb the next night. I was like, thank you. McCutcheon has been hurt for me, so that's been killing me.
It's tied up. Phillies just scored. 1-1.
That was that one off.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, cool. Triple. Awesome. Cole Hamill scores. It's always nice when the pitcher scores.
Yep.
But we'll But we'll see how the season goes. Every week we'll give an update on the Nationals. We'll give an update around the league. The Orioles so far, they've been up and down, but I think the Orioles are going to be fine. The Yankees are what we all said at the bottom of the lead. The Yankees are the LA Lakers of baseball, I think, this year. They've always had good teams, and then they're going to have the one bad year.
This is the year you're calling it.
This is the year the Yankees are
I'm putting it in the book.
Go ahead. Put it in the book. Yankees are going to finish in last place. I think that's what I said anyway during our preview show. I think was the Yankees were going to finish in last place. I think we all almost agreed. Yeah. Even the Yankee fan Guillermo said they weren't going to finish that good.
He did, yeah.
So when a Yankee fan says that, it's bad. Put it in the book. Put it in the bet book.
But how is that possible?
When you spend money on all these old players and they can only last you 1 to 2 years, and you give them $200 million, a.k.a. A-Rod, a.k.a. Mark Teixeira, CC Sabathia. The list can go on and on and on who they've given money to people late in their careers. Now, the Yankees are smart. If they want to take that money and buy someone good, they'll go after Jordan Zimmerman or Ian Desmond. You know what? It would not surprise me. Look, he knows it.
Not Zimmerman.
But Desmond, though, you got to think about it. Maybe the guy they have playing short this year could have been push Desmond. Hey, take him. Take Desmond. They wouldn't, they would put out the money for Desmond, too.
Great. We'd love the money.
Is that the one you were saying he was asking $100 million?
Yeah, for the 6 errors he's had this year. I'm sure. Wait, has he had any so far this year already? Today?
We'd love to have that money that we're paying him.
Well, we're not paying that much now. Now he wants it. But we'll talk. Well, like I said, every week we'll go over national talk. We'll talk Orioles for all our Orioles fans out there because we are in that kind of area. Speaking of the Orioles, did you see they put up a poster or a little billboard now, like 2 blocks from National Stadium, like O's Nation billboard, right in the heart of DC. Right in the heart of DC, they have an O Nations billboard. And get this, I'm coming back from Delaware, and I'm going down. I think it's 301. And I'm like 30. I think it's like the 40 miles from Wilmington. I'm still in Maryland. There's an Orioles sign all the way out in the Eastern Shore, right near the Delaware border. It says O Nation. I'm like, God, they're trying to get some Orioles people out on the Eastern Shore now.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you go out to the Dover area where I visit, and you see a lot of Philly stuff, but the games they cover on TV there are the Nationals and Orioles. You go to the Dit Sporting Goods there, it's all Philadelphia crap, which now I have to. If I ever go there, I have to look at Eagles junk and Phillies junk. But the TV coverage is Nationals and Orioles. So it's pretty interesting how they sell Phillies, but they cover DC sports more.
Right.
I'm sure the football team, they'll make sure they cover the Eagles, a team that wins. Oh, sorry, Brad.
It's fine. I got nothing to say to that.
All right, we're going to shift gears here. We're going to go into some NBA playoff talk. The Washington Wizards once again have made the playoffs. Congratulations to the Wizards. Started off strong, didn't finish off strong, but hey, if you start strong, you still have a chance to make the playoffs. So that's all that matters. I mean, they had a horrible second half of the season. I mean, even Brad, I think they were under 500 after starting. I think was it like 30-19 or something like that. They had a strong start, and they just collapsed down the stretch. I mean, it was pretty bad. But also injuries affected them a lot. I mean, Beal's been in and out of the lineup. Nene, you can never count on. But the big reason I think they started losing was past couple of weeks they started getting some wins. Towards the end of the game, during that run where they were just playing horrible, Gortat, the guy who you're paying money for, they take out in like the final 2 minutes, and he's one of your better rebounders, your better shot blockers, and you're taking him out? Like, that's just absurd. I don't know what Whitman's thinking. And Whitman, even though they made the playoffs, his job should be on the line for the way, I mean, his coaching, I think, has been horrendous this season, the way he's using players. And then when they started winning towards the end, who do you think was in the final 2 minutes? They had Gortat in. So what does that show you? Start playing Gortat, and that's what they do in the playoffs. And they're playing a Toronto Raptors team who they lost to. I think they've lost like 6 straight against Toronto. They can't beat Toronto, and they're trying to figure out. I think they've said after all these tapes, they've gone back and watched. Even through the last part of the season, they prepared for Toronto more than Chicago because they felt like, they have a better game plan against Chicago than Toronto. And I think they've talked about Paul Pierce even playing power forward during this game because of how small the Raptors are, and they play a lot of guards more than forwards to where Pierce, could be quicker than Nene, which is true. So the matchups we have for the playoffs, we'll go through the whole one right now, is we have number 1 seed Atlanta's playing number 8 Brooklyn. Toronto's a 4 playing Washington 5. And this is in the Eastern Conference, by the way. Chicago 3 playing Milwaukee 6. Cleveland's 2 playing Boston 7. Boston, who was trying to get rid of some players. They kept Rondo around, and well, no, they got rid of Rondo. I'm sorry, and they made the playoffs. So that's very surprising. They got rid of their best player, and look at them as the 7th seed. On the West side, you have Golden State 1, New Orleans 8, who beat out Oklahoma City. I think this is going to be tough for Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Those guys who battled injuries, fought to the very end, but it just shows you can't overcome a slow start like they did. It was a very slow start, and they just couldn't overcome it. Westbrook won the scoring title, and he, and I quote, he was like, scoring title doesn't mean shit. I'm not in the playoffs. And he quoted was saying that. You have Portland at 4, Memphis at 5, Clippers at 3, San Antonio 6, and that is a very dangerous 6th seed team in San Antonio. That team, they could make the finals as a 6th seed. They're very dangerous. Then you have 2 Houston and 7 Dallas. So we'll go with the Eastern, and we'll go with the Wizards first. They're playing Toronto, and like last year when they played Chicago, I think it was the Wizards running off of a high of, having a great finish. This year they didn't have a great finish. Toronto didn't either. Toronto's gone from 2 down to 3, down to 4. They've slowly gone down as well. But can the Wizards pull this off? And I think if Beal and Wall can play up to their potential, and Beal took a step back this year. I'm sure Brad can agree with that. We all thought Beal was going to come out. The playoffs last year, he was great, and we all thought he was going to continue that. Even with injuries, even when he was playing healthy, he was slowly sliding down. So hopefully he can come back to where he was. And the Wizards, looking at everything, looking at Toronto, they're 3-0, to 6-0 the past 6 games they've won. You got the Wizards, the 5 seed. I think the Wizards, they have to find a way to win. I think the Wizards can take this and win this series, and I think it'll be I think they'll win 4-2. I think they'll win the series 4-2. I think they'll take the first game against Toronto at home, and I think they'll sweep them here in D.C. because the Wizards play really good at home in the playoffs. They play extremely good. The home crowd is really good for the Wizards, and speaking of home crowds, seems like, basketball, they're more behind than hockey. Did you watch the game last night, Brad?
Yeah, unfortunately I did.
That crowd was just not even into it at all.
And it showed, and the players weren't into it. Maybe they just weren't ready for playoff. Hopefully that's a slap in the face for the Capitals, and they can gear up because they've been playing some really good hockey here the last month of the season. So I'm hoping that they rebound very nicely and take care of the Isles.
All right, a little off topic with the Capitals. What I'm getting at is the fans. DC, I feel like all their sport teams thrive on the fans, and the Wizards fans are into it as they were last year. They had the whole bullet fever thing going on here. Hopefully it continues. So, I got the Wizards winning that, and I think they'll be playing Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to sweep Brooklyn under the rug. So, my next round over there, I'm going to have, we'll just go through all our rounds. What's wrong? Do you have the wrong things over there?
No, I have what I want.
I know. I'm just saying we'll go through them real quick, one person at a time, until we get to the finals. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I think he's saying that you're...
Of course I'm going to pick Atlanta. Why wouldn't I pick Atlanta? They're playing Brooklyn. Of course we're going to have the same pits. They're the 1 seed. Oh, Brooklyn beat Atlanta. Jesus.
Boy, would you be sitting over there crying if they did.
They're not going to. Brooklyn's a horrible team. They got the Eastern Conference, the final 2 teams, I think, were under 500. Brooklyn beat Atlanta. Brooklyn beats Atlanta. I'll apologize to you. But I have Atlanta beating Brooklyn in a sweep. I have Milwaukee over Chicago. I don't think Derrick Rose is 100% like he's not. So I think Milwaukee will steal that. And I got Cleveland beating Boston. I don't want LeBron to win a title. But over to the West, I'm going to have Golden State advancing against New Orleans. I'm going to have Memphis against Portland going against Memphis beating Portland. I'll have San Antonio over the Clippers and Houston over Dallas. And then I'll have Atlanta over Washington. I think Washington's run will end like it did last year in the second round. I think Atlanta's just too strong of a team. They've had their number all year round. Cleveland will be in the Eastern Conference Finals. LeBron will make it for, the 5th straight year in the conference finals for a team. The only thing that's concerning me right now with Cleveland is LeBron has experience. Kevin Love doesn't. Kyrie Irving doesn't. So I think they're going to have to ride LeBron the whole way to that Eastern Conference Finals. And if LeBron doesn't play good, I'm really concerned about Cleveland. Right now they're the highest potential odds to win the championship, but they have to ride LeBron because of the inexperience of a lot of these people in Cleveland. A lot of them haven't been there, and now that they're back, Kevin Love. Kevin Love is a great player, and to think this is his first playoff is ridiculous. Think that. I mean, he's waited a long time, so we'll see what happens. Back on the other side, I have Golden State advancing, and I'm gonna have San Antonio upsetting Houston. And my pick for the finals for the NBA will be Cleveland versus San Antonio. I think LeBron's going to get his chance again to face San Antonio for a third time. Between San Antonio and LeBron, the series is tied up 1-1. We'll see what happens in the finals.
Wow.
Brad, let's go first with you running down the Wizards' chances, and then we'll go with your picks.
Well, the Wizards, they haven't proven much recently, so they have a very, very tall task ahead of them. But I do see them winning this first round matchup against Toronto, and I actually have this going into 7 games. But I think the Wizards do just enough to pull out this win. I think they have just enough talent, size down low to really get them over the hump. One thing that's really hurt the Wizards all year, I think seeing the loss of Ariza has really hurt our shooting numbers. I mean, from behind the arc, we have to be one of the bottom teams in the NBA. I was hoping Beal would be able to step up and handle the pressure, but he's not knocking down as many shots as I would have liked. So missing Ariza really limits our ability to score from long range. But I got them getting through Toronto. Then I do have them losing to Atlanta. I think Atlanta has proven to everyone that they're not just a surprise. They're not just a shock. They've played solid all season, and I think they're the real deal and ready to play at a high level. And I think they knock off the Wizards and go to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I have Chicago beating the Bucks. I just think the Bucks don't have enough talent to hang with Chicago. When it comes down to crunch time, Chicago will out physical them, and the Bucks, they're not ready for that. But then I also have Cleveland advancing against who they have, Shipe.
Who?
Cleveland.
Boston.
Yeah, against Boston. I know Boston's been playing really hot, but I mean, these are a bunch of young guys who haven't had playoff experience. I know a lot like Cleveland, but I think it's going to be more of an impact on Boston than Cleveland. So I got Cleveland getting through Chicago as well, playing at Atlanta. Then on the west side, I got Golden State advancing. I do have the Spurs upsetting the Clip. And I have Memphis getting through Portland, and Houston's gonna be the Mavs. That's gonna be a great series, but I got Houston beating the Mavs, and then I have Golden State playing Houston, and I have Houston advancing to the finals against the Cavaliers.
You have Houston, Cleveland. Interesting, Coach.
Well, most of mine are close to your two gentlemen's picks. But I was looking at some of these series matchups, head to head. I know the season doesn't matter much, but I'll start with the Cleveland and Boston. The series between those two this year have been an equal series. I mean, both of them are, it's have won 2 games, so they know each other pretty good. It'll be an interesting series. But I'll give the edge to Cleveland on that one. And I'll jump up here to Toronto and Washington. I'm going to pick the hometown, Washington Wizards. I think that they'll finally figure out how talented they can be if they want to be and get through Toronto. Toronto hasn't been, I guess, looking at some of the playoff notes or whatever, Toronto hasn't been or hasn't done good as a number 4 seed. They're 2 that they've playoffs that they've been into as a number 4, they've lost both. So let's hopefully this will be their 3rd loss as a number 4 seed. So let's go down with the Wizards. Atlanta, over Brooklyn, and then Chicago over Milwaukee, and then actually after we get past that, Cleveland will bypass Chicago and end up playing Atlanta. And I think what you guys are talking about. First-time playoffs for some of these Cleveland, but I think that they're going to pick up on how LeBron excels in these playoff games. And if you say ride his shirt tails, but they're going to ride it. But at some point in time, it's going to come up, and they're going to be, instead of at the shirt tails, up on the shoulders, helping LeBron out. So I think Cleveland could take Atlanta, and it puts LeBron back in the finals, representing the East side. In the West, Golden State over New Orleans, Memphis over Portland. I'll take the Spurs over the Clippers, Dallas over Houston, and to see who gets to the final in the West, I have the Golden State versus the Spurs. I just think they've been there pretty good. They know how to get there, know what it takes to get to that final game on the West side. And I think the finals. I picked San Antonio versus Cleveland, just to, like you guys had mentioned, it gives LeBron another shot at San Antonio. And besides LeBron, remember, going back to Cleveland, now he's giving them a chance to win it, to win the NBA title in Cleveland, which I believe was his goal going back, to give Cleveland. They had been down since he left, but now that he's coming back, I think he's going to prove that he's getting the players to play up to his level that are there, and they're going to have a good playoff series, and he's his goal is to put them in the finals, and they could end up being there.
All right, before we start our final pits, Philly just took the lead 2-1. How do you think they got in position to take the lead? Error. Michael Taylor, how hard is it to catch a fly ball? You are a major leaguer. Why is that so hard to catch a fly ball? Tell me why it's so hard. You are in the major leagues. You are not little league. Why is it so hard to catch a fly ball? Why is it hard to throw the ball to first base? Why? I'm sorry we're off topic. I just saw this on my Twitter feed. I want to know, why is it so hard to
The sun was in his eyes.
No, I don't. No. You're getting paid money to do this.
The guy in the gyrocopter flew over.
Maybe it was him. I don't know, but it bewilders me. You're a major leaguer. You're getting paid to play a game that you love. Why are you dropping line drives? What are you looking at? I'm sorry for getting off topic, but it just bewilders me on how they're on pace for 1 million errors in the month of April, and I don't understand.
Just calm down there.
It
Give them a
bewilders.
Valium.
Does it not bewilder any of you how they're major leaguers and they're committing damn errors as stupid as those? It's stupid you can't throw the first base. Stupid you can't catch a fly ball. It's ridiculous.
What was this error?
It was a line drive, and it missed his glove. He missed it completely. How do you miss a line drive? Yes, I did it in softball, but I'm not a major leaguer. I did men's.
When I was in
The
T-ball.
truth is coming out.
men's adult softball. Everyone does it. I missed one, but I'm not a major leaguer. I'm allowed to miss shit like that. I'm allowed to miss stuff like that. I pay to play in that league. I can miss stuff if I want. They're paid to win. I don't understand. Brad, can you please explain to me how major leaguers can't throw or catch ball?
Well, a lot of them can, and the ones who do make the big bucks, and the ones who don't make as much money. So guys
We gave
like,
Zimmerman money, and he could throw a goddamn thing from third base last year.
well,
It's his arm. I understand his arm's hurt. I give him the props. He's playing good first base. But Desmond, I want 100 million Nationals. You guys can't afford me. Yeah, no shit, because you sucked right now. 6 errors, you sucked. I'm sorry. I know you don't like me saying that word, but he sucks right now. Michael Taylor belongs in AAA to work on his pop flies. What are you looking up?
That wasn't a pop fly. That was a line drive.
That's what I meant. Line drive, whatever.
Well, lights are different in major league parks compared to minor league facilities. They're not as lit up as most of them are.
Stop making excuses.
I'm not making excuses. How many times have you seen some of the best outfielders in Major League Baseball? A line drive, especially at twilight, okay, when you don't have the solid dark sky, that it's been a misjudge, or you see them fall down, they'll catch it or retract it, but you're still talking about a rookie in center field who hasn't had this job put on his shoulders okay, and
Then-
say you take it, you take charge.
Then you know what you do is you move Harper to center field for the time being, and you put Tyler Moore left field, Worth bat than right, and you put people who's been in the majors, okay? Michael Taylor, you'll be great next year. But you know what? Until then, put players in the outfield that know what they're doing. Tyler Moore's played there in the majors. Bryce has played center. Worth has been in right. Put people in position that know they can catch the ball. Michael Taylor's up there way too early. We've already said it. You know, make adjustments to the outfield. Matt Williams, just fucking take him to the field, hit ground balls, all practice, and hit pop-ups, all practice. Don't even take batting. Just field for 5 hours.
He just gets to get it. He's just shaking off his. He's getting acclimated.
Acclimated. Yeah, he was acclimated when he's in the minors and stuff. It doesn't no excuse for not catching a fly ball or a line drive. Not excuse to be able to make the throw to first base. You practice your throws during warm-ups at that distance. That's what they take infield and outfield for while the pitcher's warming up so you can practice your throws.
Hey, it makes sense on paper.
Yeah.
Look, even the train agrees it's horse crap. He was giving his
Makes
2
sense on
cents.
paper.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
That's
Okay.
funny.
Sorry. I'm sorry, people out there. It's just frustrating to see people that get paid money like this just do stupid mistakes, and it just bewilders me. Like,
He got it out of the way. Maybe he won't make any more.
I'm on pace for a random episode.
Well, and here's what you're getting at now. There was so much hype and pump up for the Nationals this year. Oh, yeah, they're going to be in the World Series. Everybody put them on a pedestal so high that they couldn't get off of it. Well, things are falling apart right now, and it's all due to, and we talked about this in your preseason thing, injuries. You know, your cornerstones are not there. So now you got a pebble where cornerstones to be, and it ain't
But
holding up.
Taylor's been there all spring training. He's been in games. He's been in practice. You practice this crap for a whole month.
Yeah,
And-
but it's different. I mean, I'm not taking his side,
Yeah, you are.
but it's different when because he's a rookie, right? I
So
mean,
is-
to the major leagues. He's a
So was
rookie.
Mike Trout, but he was scaling halfway up the wall making catches.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Bryce Harper, granted, I mean, at least he attempted to catch. I mean, he did knock himself out, but still. I mean, I don't know. I needed that. I need that Dennis Quaid type thing right there.
Yeah, this was all a setup.
Yeah, gotcha.
April Fool's, guys.
The score's actually wrong, and the error was never made.
Oh, that error was made all right. I got 50 people on Twitter talking about the error. And
Oh,
it
really?
cost him another run, another unearned run. Now, Fister, you got to hope the offense gets going against Cole Hamels. That's a pitcher you don't want to be behind. Okay, back to the NBA talk.
Zimmerman's batting right now, I think.
Awesome. Maybe he can hit a home run. All right, back to the NBA talk. All right, in the finals, we got two people with San Antonio and Cleveland, which is me and Coach, and we got Brad with Houston and Cleveland.
Houston, Cleveland.
There, I remembered. I got San Antonio winning it all. I got LeBron losing to San Antonio again. I think San Antonio's been there before. They keep their team together every year. They all know what to do. And I just think the pressure to get to Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. I mean, it'll be their first time in any playoff. I think it'll get to them. And also, another thing you have to look at, Kyrie and Kevin have never played this long into a season. Fatigue, I think, does set in during the playoffs. And the Spurs, they know how to cope with this fatigue. I mean, they'll rest players here and who out through the season. And, they give the coach.
'Cause they're old.
They're old.
Right.
But
Kyrie isn't old. He's not.
I know
gonna
he's
get
not.
tired.
I know he's not old, but I'm just saying. I think fatigue will still set in this grueling. I still think it will, but I think the inexperience of Kyrie and Kevin Love is going to play no big effect. And I think the Spurs know how to show up on the big stage, which they do year in year out. And I think the Spurs are going to win the series. And I think it'll go once again. I think it'll be 4-3 series, like LeBron always has a problem with San Antonio. I just don't think he can beat them. I mean, he's beat them once, but I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna lose to them 2 years in a row. Brad, let's go with Houston and Cleveland. Who do you got?
Man, this is a tough one because there's a lot of star power involved in this matchup, but I'm gonna take Cleveland to knock off Houston 4-2. I just think that LeBron is going to find a way to motivate his guys. He makes everyone around him better, and I think he'll find a way to take this good team to a greater level in the playoffs and show these young guys how to get it done, I think they catch on, and I think they feel the momentum from LeBron. I think they all come together and start playing really well. So I'm going to take Cleveland 4-2 over Houston.
Coach.
I'll agree with you, Cleveland. I like that pick. I think it'll go 7 games, 4-3. Only because sometimes you look at paper like they go 7 games. That's a lot of money. It's a great series if the Spurs and Cleveland make it to the finals with a great TV rating.
Paul knows why I feel good right now.
And let's let it go 7 games. Look at great rating. Keep it going.
Sure.
Don't end it quick. Don't end it quick. What intensity on 6 and 7?
Look, they're going to pick up Michael Taylor because a ball just hit him in the head. Nationals did just tie up the score with the Ramos single, so it's 2-2 now.
Okay, yeah. When are your tickets? When do you go watch the Nationals now? You got your tickets for next week? You sure you don't want to sell them?
I'm not going to sell tickets to Nationals. I'm not gonna go. Let me get those Diamond Club tickets. Let me get that.
Who are you cheering for now? Who's your baseball
It's always
team?
going to be the Nationals. Just like Brad always cheers for the Redskins, and they stink.
Oh, wow, Tennessee. You must be really proud.
Phillip Rivers, let's go. Phillip Rivers 2015. I'm going to go get a customized Phillip Rivers jersey tomorrow.
It'll be muddy waters by the time it gets done.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's about going to wrap it up for today. Thank you for listening. We had a great episode. You heard my epic rant that I have once a week, which is always fun. We had our Masters talk. We had our baseball talk. We talked about some USA soccer, so our soccer fans got to hear some stuff out there this week. You got our picks for the NBA championship. We have 2 for Cleveland, 1 for San Antonio, so we'll see what happens there. Paul, make sure you put that in the books.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, please, like I said earlier in the show, please listen to Paul's podcast, Crazy Talk with a K. It's a Crazy Talk podcast. It's 3 old guys and 1 really old guy. You should tell them I said that and see what they say.
We're not that old.
Henry's pretty old.
Yeah, he's
pretty old.
He's older than me.
He's probably older than me and Brad combined in age.
Maybe.
You gonna let him listen to this part and see what he says?
Yeah, I will.
All right, guys, I'm gonna let you. Paul's gonna take it over from here.
All right, so you can get in touch with us by tweeting us at Shipe Sports Talk. You can send us an email to shipesportstalk@gmail.com. Visit the website, shipesportstalk.com, and you can just fill out the contact us form there with any questions or comments. We'd love to see those questions and comments, and we'll definitely give you a shout out on air if you do send it in. Give us some interesting questions. Also, check us out. All the past episodes you can find on Stitcher and iTunes and on the website. Give us a rating and a review. It helps the podcast out tremendously, helps us promote it, and moves us up so we can promote the show. Did I cover everything?
I think you did. You got it. 100%.
Facebook? Oh, Facebook.
Facebook, Shipe Sports Talk. I got to try to put some new pictures on Instagram.
The Facebook, yeah, that'd be great too. But I guess that's it.
Real quick, before we go, little serious note. Kids, if you learned anything from the court case with Aaron Hernandez, do not mess with the wrong crowd. If you have a career in sports, get yourself away from that crowd. It only leads you to trouble. Aaron Hernandez screwed himself over. He had a great career. So kids, don't choose your friends wisely. All the kids out there listening that are sports kids, into sports, choose your friends wisely. It's better to pick teammates over the troublemakers 100% of the time.
He's spending his life in jail, right?
Yeah.
Without parole.
Yep, without parole. Have fun, buddy. Longest Yard 2, starring Aaron Hernandez, Michael Vick, and Placido Burress, coming to a theater near you.
Yeah, they said that they're already coming out with a whole bunch of tight end jokes.
He'll be the tight end of those teams.
Terrible. That's terrible.
All right, guys. So next week, we'll go over some more baseball talk. We'll talk some more NBA playoffs, see what the Wizards update are. Hopefully we'll have a good update. Actually, excuse me. Most of y'all don't know, next week we will not be having an episode next Thursday. I'm sorry to say that. I will be celebrating my 26th birthday next Thursday. I'm going out to dinner and everything, so we will not be having an episode next Thursday. I apologize to anyone who's going to be looking forward to that. So in 2 weeks, hopefully we're still talking about the Wizards and Capitals in the playoffs. Let's hope. Hopefully we're talking about the Nationals having a winning record. So join us in 2 weeks. And also in 2 weeks, with the date, we will also be going over the NFL draft.
Yes.
Yes. So in
nice.
April
so
30th.
in 2 weeks, get prepared for our NFL draft special show, I guess is what we'll call it. Yeah. All right. You know what? There we go. The title for next week in 2 weeks will be the NFL draft special show,
Okay.
along with some extras.
Man, that's coming around fast.
It is a lot of talk with the draft. So next week. So remember, next week no show. In 2 weeks we'll have our NFL draft show. We'll actually give our grades for the Redskins, the Ravens, our local teams, and I'll give my grade for the Titans. So we'll give everyone's which team had the best draft and which team.
That's funny.
I'm looking right at you, buddy.
I'm listening. No, go ahead. I'm listening.
We're trying to get out of here. We just keep going on and on, but who cares? It's free entertainment, people.
By the way, Speed shot +3 today, so cooled off a little bit.
Guess what? He's still the Masters champ.
He's got a
Where's my?
jacket.
Yeah, so he's still the Masters champ.
If-
So he's wearing the
If he
green
would have
jacket
saved,
for you.
if he would have saved that for his final round, I would have been right.
But we'll also tell who we think had what team had the best draft, which team had the worst draft, which team did a stupid Johnny Manziel pitch, or Tim Tebow.
Oh, jeez.
So everyone out there, thank you for listening. For myself, my producer Paul, for Brad, for the coach, we appreciate you for listening. Please follow us on all the things Paul told us. We love your comments. Please give us a review, and have a great evening, everyone, and enjoy some playoffs. Rock the red,
Go Caps.
USA.